Okay, welcome to Level Up, the Career Playbook, or as I like to call it, how to be better at your job. This is the podcast where we cut through the bullshit. We give you the real actionable tools to help you reach your career goals and thrive. Whether you're just starting out, climbing the ladder, or redefining your role, this is where we unpack the stories, the strategies, and the skills that make the difference. I am your host, Brian Bell, and I am thankful and honored to everyone listening and watching wherever you are in the world today. One quick favor that would help tremendously: go ahead and just like this video and subscribe to the podcast. It does a lot to make sure that more people get to see it. Or you can wait till the end of the video and like it. But either way, please make sure you like, subscribe at the end. Everybody got that out the way? All right, let's get to the real stuff. Today's guest has built his career on making big bets and winning, whether on the football field or in the boardroom. Matt Peterson went from lining up as defensive end at BYU to lining up billion-dollar deals on Wall Street before leading finance teams to some of the fastest growing companies in tech. Now as the CFO at Snappy, he's helping build one of the most exciting gifting platforms in the world. But let's get real. How do you actually make big career moves, transition from one high-stakes arena to the other, and build a reputation as a person who gets things done? Matt is a master at playing the long game, whether it's scaling companies, leading through IPOs, or building high-performing teams. So in this episode, what we're going to get into is how his athletics has shaped his career and his leadership philosophy in finance, the mindset shift needed to crush high-pressure moments in business, scaling fast-moving companies without losing your mind, the truth about career transitions and why your past might be your biggest asset, and the daily rituals and decision frameworks that keep him at the top of his game. This is not going to be your typical finance conversation. This is going to be a masterclass in strategy, execution, and high-performance leadership. Matt, MP, welcome to the show. How the hell are you?
Thanks for having me, Brian. Doing well. That's a hell of an intro, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, ChatGPT. No,
Yeah, that was great. I appreciate it.
And that didn't do your resume justice, and so hopefully we'll be able to do that. But I really appreciate you being on here. You and I worked back a little bit ago together and immediately connected and knew, hey, that's a guy that gets things done. And I really enjoyed working with you, so I really appreciate you jumping on here.
Likewise.
All right. So the point of this podcast is I got laid off, of course, right? And how do I make sure that I prevent that the next time? And I also just wanted to think about how can I be better at my job? I was watching a Kobe highlight thing, and his preparation for everything he did in the kind of radical preparation that he did was, how can I apply this to my world? It's not athletics, but it's the career world and going to corporate America. This is the Level Up podcast. It's sports related. We're going to have sports related themes. The first one being the pregame. And we're just going to kind of dive in and see if we can get as much juice out of you so I can learn how to be better and the people that are watching and listening will be better. The first segment is the pregame. And I want to start, way back. Let's talk about the foundational years, your early influences. Obviously, like I mentioned, you played some football. And so having your background have high-level athletics and finance, maybe it's high school, maybe before, but what were some early experiences or influence that shaped where you are and how you got to where you are right now?
That's a great question. So I think it actually goes before high school. So I played 4 sports growing up: baseball, basketball, football, did wrestling as well for a while, and whittled back down to 2 once I got into high school, right? Mom had 3 boys like me. She's not going to shuttle all of us around to 3 or 4 sports. She's like, y'all got to pick 2 that you're really good at. But from a young age, it was always a lot of competitive teams, not just the city league teams, right? It wasn't just little league. It was always travel ball. You're constantly trying to remake the team that you're already on. And I think that is what really led to A, being competitive, B, you got a plan where you're going to be on that roster. C, you know that you're always trying out for your role. It's not static. This isn't participation work. Getting into high school as one of the biggest high schools at the time in the state, super competitive. Same thing. We went to the state championship back-to-back years, and out of our graduating class, I mean, we had over 3,000 kids at our high school. We had several folks go to the league. We had guys go to the show, right? We had guys go to Europe for basketball. So it's also surrounding myself with and being surrounded by super competitive people, and also I'd say competitive parents.
Yeah.
That set a really high bar. I think for me, the bar growing up was not only are you expected to be a good athlete, we expect you to get a 4.0 because we know you can. And it wasn't because we were going to force the issue. It's just we know you're capable of it, so that's the bar. We're going to set the bar to what you as an individual are capable of. Naturally, that carried into football. I think the other inspiring factor there would be I served an LDS mission from 2007 to 2009. And so you grow up really fast on those. You get to talk to your parents twice a year, once on Mother's Day, once on Christmas, and you are full-time on your own for 2 years. And I think that too, what it teaches you is a lot of confidence, right?
How old were you then?
I was 19, dropped off
Yeah.
on an island in the middle of South Pacific, didn't hardly speak the language. You're trapped in your own head for 4 to 6 months, but you figure it out real quick and you grow up, right? Umbilical cord's cut and you're on your own. And I think by going through challenges like that, you end up developing a sense of self-confidence, knowing that, hey, I can actually do hard things, right? I think college is all about discipline. I think any college athlete's going to tell you the number one thing that they probably learn while, especially like a D1A type level, is discipline. You're expected to still make grades.
Yeah.
I was dumb enough to try to do BYU's accounting program and be on the D1 football team at the same time. Professors told me I was nuts. I was like, try me. What's the hardest major? I'll go do it. I did it. At the same time, it teaches you to be, I'd say, ruthless with your time. Yeah. And you don't multitask. You switch tasks extremely fast. So it's another skill I think you learn.
Real quick though, so you did not really know, maybe in high school senior year, I'm going to finance it, was I want the hardest degree, or how did the finance, the accounting?
Well, that's a good double click. Believe it or not, I knew that I was going to be a corporate investment banker, like an M&A investment banker, as a sophomore in high school.
Why is that? That's crazy though.
It's crazy. My teacher thought I made it up. In sophomore class, you write a resume, you make up an education to get the job, ask for a salary. The teacher's like, okay, this is legit. My teacher thought I made that up. She's like, there is not a single investment bank in the world that makes the number that you put on that piece of paper. I was like, you've never been in New York. You don't know what Wall Street is, right? Remember, small kid, Utah, small town, Utah. I learned what an investment banker was when my dad sold his tech startup. And I got to see what that was. And then I started double clicking and doing my own research after that. So I was like, hey, you're young, right? You see a well-dressed dude, nice suit. When he speaks, everyone listens because he's smart.
Yep.
It's like, I want that job. What is that job?
Okay.
And that's what inspired that. And then I always knew growing up I was pretty okay at math, right? And then for me, accounting, some people it clicks, some people it doesn't. When I took my first accounting class, it was like riding a bike. Everything made sense. And then the moment someone handed me Excel, I did my first Excel sheet when I was like 11 years old.
Okay.
I naturally was like, oh, this thing makes sense to me, right?
Yeah.
That's where that all started. And then I was actually going to go back east to college. And they didn't like I was going to go either Princeton, Harvard, Columbia, got all the letters from recruiting for football. They didn't like the fact that I was going to go on an LDS mission, so they pulled my offers.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah, I got a call on the phone, even from Princeton, and I've still got the letter. Hey man, are you going to go on one of those 2-year LDS trips? Well, I was planning on it. Yeah, it's not going to work for us. Click. So imagine hearing that as an 18-year-old.
Okay.
Right. So made my choice. I'm glad I did. I think I learned more of my mission than I did in college. Right. But yeah, I think just, it was all adjacent to the athletics, but there's all these different challenges and then life lessons I think you learn on top of I call it the usual, which is learn how to be on a team, learn how to be competitive, learn how to take feedback, right? That's really where a lot of that came from.